Prost.
Prost.
Hey
everyone.
everyone, and welcome to another Video Wednesday.
This video is actually inspired by our friends Donnie and Aubrey from Two Passports.
And if for some reason you don't know who they are, then check out their channel below. There's a link in the description.
Donnie and Aubrey were doing a video recently about things that are normal in Germany that somehow don't exist in America. So I was thinking, there are a lot of things that are really common in America that I'm not used to from Germany. And all of these things are like everyday occurrences that make kind of just a really small difference, but they are a little bit weird.
Why don't we present 10 of our most interesting little differences between Germany and America? Considering that I'm American and she's German, and we would have two different perspectives on these things.
Disclaimer in front of this video, all my opinions are correct about Germany, and there are no people in Germany that are experiencing anything else besides my opinion.
I represent all of America. I was raised in Texas, therefore anything that happens in New York is exactly the same. Just like anything that happens in Montana or Alaska or Hawaii or here in LA. So clearly, all my experiences from Texas and LA represent the entire country. There's no difference whatsoever. I don't care how big we are. We're all Texans.
Just kidding. A lot of these things maybe you've experienced in Germany or you've seen somewhere else, or maybe they exist in America and I've just not seen them.
I'm not kidding. We're all Texans.
So if you do have a different experience or a different opinion on all of these things, let us know, because I would love to know if there's any Germans out there with a garbage disposal. The first everyday thing that, honestly, as an adult, you might not really notice that much, but I happen to have one, so we got to talking about how we went to school. I think it's a huge difference. Americans actually don't write with a Füller.
In America, in grade school especially, we learn to write and do our math with a pencil and eraser. And apparently they don't do that in Germany. They go straight to the pen.
There's different versions. There's the classic fountain pen that kind of has that beautiful feathery thing and it's very fancy. There's ballpoint versions, but what's important is that they're all equipped with little ink bullets that you have to put in here. And that's the only way that you're allowed to write any papers in Germany. And I think until maybe like 8th or 9th grade, I was not allowed to write with a Kugelschreiber. I had to write with a Füller. And Americans don't even have a real word for these, which is why I have to say the German words.
We had our pencils with erasers. You know, the erasers that would always break off at the end.
But I just think writing with a pencil doesn't give you good handwriting. We do use pencils, but this is where it's at, guys. Your finger dexterity is much better if you write with these.
Wait, so you do use pencils?
Yeah, but you can't submit your work with them.
But kids would just have pencils for fun?
Well, what if you have to like draw a triangle in math?
So your geometry class, you had pencils?
Yes, in geometry part of math, we draw with pencil, but then we write the actual equation in ink. Another thing that I thought was really weird when I first moved here was I had a little bit of a cold and I was just sniffling. That was before COVID, when that was still acceptable. Somebody said I should take Advil and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just ibuprofen. But it comes in baby doses.
Right, each pill is like 200 milligrams. That's kind of an average. Same with acetaminophen, also known as Tylenol.
So you have to take at least 3 or a whole bottle.
In Germany, their pills are usually like 400.
You can get 800 if you're like in a lot of pain.
Over the counter?
Sure.
It's like 4 pills at once.
Yeah, but 2 of these I'm not even gonna feel.
Okay, so another small difference that I certainly noticed is the toilet handles. First off, they don't have them in Germany. They have buttons. And they have 2 buttons. Apparently, one is for poo-poo and the other one's for pee-pee. Even though the first one was bigger, I just figured number 2 has to be for number 2.
But that's because Americans say I'm going number 1 and number 2, and Germans say I'm going big and I'm going small.
We have a handle for both, so it don't matter.
Americans flush with a ton of water.
They definitely have less water in their toilets. They're a lot more conservative with that.
And then since we're in the bathroom, let's talk about shower knobs. Because why do you have a cold and a hot shower knob when you could just have one that twists and gives you like degrees of hotness and coldness?
Yeah, I did notice that too. Now the thing is in America we do have those shower knobs, but you kind of have to get them installed, and not everybody has them. But I think they're pretty standard issue in Germany. I never saw like a two thing in Germany. Not even their sinks have the two knobs. They just have one that just basically one way is hot, the other way is cold.
Yeah, makes sense. It's the only logical way.
And speaking of sinks, I never saw once somebody with a garbage disposal in Germany.
But also, Americans often have two sinks.
Yeah, one's for the garbage disposal and one's for just draining.
Okay, but also garbage disposals are named very poorly because do they dispose of garbage?
The worst part about the garbage disposal is it always gets broken at some point or stuck.
But also, like, why is it too much work for you guys to just, if there's still food on your plate, to just take the plate over to the trash and scrape it down and then put it in the dishwasher? Instead, you're just like, well, there's still half a lasagna on my plate. Let me put it in the sink. This is a big topic because there's several differences. Doors. Americans are doing the doors just completely wrong. First of all, Americans have door knobs and not door handles on almost all their doors. So whether you're coming in from the outside, whether you're just going from your bedroom to your bathroom, they are always door knobs that twist.
Sometimes the front door will have like those hooks with the handle like that. That is very German. These kind of handles, that's the only kind of doorknobs they have.
And then doorknobs not only twist, like if you don't want them to twist, so if you're like locking the door, they have a teeny tiny lock on them that you can kind of just twist for a few millimeters.
In Germany, the only way to lock any single door from inside or outside is with a key. Every time I went to the bathroom, I went click, click.
No, Everett would usually forget.
And I've had people walk in.
Americans install their locks upside down.
For us, right side up is where the ridges are on top and the flat is on the bottom.
But this is right side up, clearly. The straight side has to be on the top and the edges have to be at the bottom. And then this is how you would unlock a door. But Americans will always just unlock the door this way. And that's just wrong.
If you think about how mountains are, mountains go up and down and they are all above. And if you think of the flat ocean or flat earth, that's at the bottom. I think we're right and they're wrong.
That makes no sense, Everett. That's so not.
How is yours even logical?
You push it in this way.
I at least came up with some really solid BS. You can't even come up with something good. So, speaking of doors, let's go to our number 7, windows.
American windows are single pane, so they don't block out the cold or the heat very well at all, and they don't block out noise.
Every apartment that I've ever worked at, which are all Class A apartments, they all have double pane windows. But all the Class B properties, all the Class C, D, and whatever class you want to call this place, we have single pane windows. And that's going to be the majority of windows in America.
And then also American windows push or slide open either towards the side or up and down. And that means you can push or slide them from the outside. Have you guys not thought about this?
We have locks, Josie.
Who locks their window?
You don't have locks in your windows?
No, we have the twisty thing, and with the twisty thing, you can't open it from the outside.
Right, because the way you open and close your windows is the same way you lock them. When we open and close, we have latches to lock them, so it's a separate mechanism to lock. And another thing that I notice is that we have screens on our windows, and that's a very common thing in America. They don't have that in Germany because they don't mind if insects invade their house.
That's not true. It's just not pre-installed.
Whatever, I've had plenty of wasps come into my face in their kitchen.
Okay, I'm gonna actually just say this is a new point that I'm adding to the list. American apartments come like semi-furnished. So even if you have an unfurnished apartment in America, there's a lot of things that are kind of already there. So window screens will be there, the kitchen will be installed, very likely you'll have a stove or possibly even a fridge. You'll have a ceiling fan installed. All those things in Germany, you would probably just go to IKEA and buy.
We even have screen doors.
Germany has those, but you have to buy them. And the other thing is that blinds for windows suck.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've never been happy with my blinds. Okay, look, you can buy good blinds if you want, but standard blinds that are issued in virtually every apartment, even the really nice ones, have terrible blinds. They break, the slats fall off, and you always have to replace your slat. It's so annoying. You might as well just get curtains or buy your own blinds.
And so in Germany, I mean, there's different versions, but generally we have what is called a jalousie. Jalousie.
What I really love in Germany are the things that you have a button for and they go...
Yeah, well, that's new.
And then it blacks it out. It's really great.
Those are really good. My next problem, and this isn't just with America, this is with the world,
Yeah.
is the fact that electrical outlets are different literally everywhere. I don't understand why the world can't come together and choose one. Even like you go to England and theirs is different. Like, come on guys, it's electricity. Can we not agree on at least that much?
When I become president of the world, my initiative will be about universal outlets.
Hashtag vote for Everett. So this is like the big plug. It has 2 prongs and this, and I don't know what this does.
It's a grounding prong.
Grounding to what?
It grounds the electricity.
So then this one isn't grounded?
Right.
I could get struck by lightning.
No.
What does it do?
This grounds it.
And this one?
It's not ungrounded.
Let's just say this is the standard plug. And then they were like, why don't we make an easier version of this plug that's missing the grounding part, which sounds incredibly dangerous. So you have this one with just 2 prongs, and that's cool. I'm down with this. But there's a version of this one where one of the prongs is slightly thicker than the other.
So that you plug it in correctly.
But then you always have to do this until you find it, and it's kind of stuck.
Like
And
a USB port.
it really is, and I just don't know why. So they have 3 different plugs in America. For what?
Wait a second. You have the 2 prong, and then you have this bigger one that has these metals.
Oh yeah, so we have, like, in our outlet there's 2 metal sticks that do this, probably
Yes.
for grounding reasons.
Probably. So if like this was the hole, there's a metal thing here and a metal thing here. And then the 2 that you plug in is right there. You got to make sure that the metals on the side co-align with these metals. And so bam, you have that outlet.
I think we use perfect finger explanation for how outlets work. Anyway, this is not an American problem or a German problem. This is a world problem.
Number 10, the last thing we want to talk about has less to do with things at the home, like windows, doors, and outlets, and more like office stuff.
Americans somehow couldn't just use the same size paper that Germans use.
You guys may have noticed in your Word document when you want to print something, there's an option called A4. And that is actually what Europe uses. And that is just a slightly larger version of the 8.5 by 11.
Just to make it more complicated, the 8.5 by 11 is called letter size. There is legal size, which is simply long.
Yeah, the legal size is basically 8.5 by 14 instead of 8.5 by 11. So 3 extra inches.
But it doesn't stop there. So they have vanilla folders.
Vanilla. We also have chocolate folders.
No, you really
And
don't.
strawberry folders.
Yeah, you do have strawberry folders.
The Neapolitan folders.
Okay.
Manila.
Manila is not a word.
It's a word. It describes this.
What is manila? Is it a color? They don't have any holding mechanism in here whatsoever. So it doesn't matter what you put in here.
Okay, some
fall out.
do. Yeah, well, some do. It depends. You can get different kinds of folders. So, like legal folders will be the longer ones, and a lot of them will have the 2-hole punch at the top, so that you can put your legal documents like this.
Don't even get me started on the hole punching, because who 2-hole punches on the top of the paper? In Germany, we 2-hole punch here.
Yeah, in America, we 3-hole punch while they 2-hole punch. So clearly, this is going beyond 10 differences.
And so I brought this thing because I actually still have this from Germany.
Look at that.
And then you put it here, which you can't because Americans couldn't go with the system.
So there you have it, folks. Those are our 10 to 15 differences.
If you like this video, please hit subscribe, press the like button, ring the bell, because then YouTube should tell you when we release a new video. Although we've heard sometimes YouTube doesn't tell you, and it's just because the algorithm hates us.
So if you're a German in America, let us know things we might have missed. And if you're an American in Germany, let us know things that we also might have missed.
And if you're in neither of these countries, also let us know.
If you're in Korea, let us know. 안녕하세요.
Konnichiwa.
If you're in Japan, ni hao. If you're in China, let us know the differences there. I bet there's a lot.
Hello, mate. If you're in Australia, also let us know. Is that how Australians talk? No.
Hola, if you're anywhere from South America, tell us. We want to thank our Patreons again.
We will add more content to Patreon because we do want to have more stuff for you guys and we want to interact with you more.
It's just taking a bit of time to get some of these videos out, but they are there. We do have them. Just bear with us. We'll get them out to you soon.
And thank you for watching on YouTube.
That's right. Share with your friends. Tschüss.
Tschüss.